Caonabo, once he realized that he had been kidnapped, was so amazed by Ojeda's just wit. How dare you just come into my house and convince me to ride this beast and then chain me? Caonabo's mind was blown. Once they were far enough away from Caonabo's guards, Alonso de Ojeda tied him to his own body and tied everybody else up, and they just galloped at full speed back to La Isabela. He was then given to Colon. Once at La Isabela, Colon finally met face to face with the biggest threat he had ever found on the island. It is said that Caonabo was fierce and did not give any consideration to Colon. Ojeda was very proud of himself for having captured Caonabo in a way that nobody was injured. This was a bloodless capture. Caonabo respected Ojeda much more than he respected Colon because of the way he had captured him. Anytime he saw Colon, he wouldn't acknowledge him, not acknowledge this man, but he would get up for this one. Colon was very intrigued by this man, and he ended up sitting with him and talking with him and learning about him and his culture. Instead of putting him to death because he wrote that he was unwilling to put to death so great a personage without the knowledge of the Catholic sovereigns. Colon himself wrote, "I have taken pains to learn what they believe and know where the dead go, especially from Caonabo." He described him in this way: "He is a man of mature age, very knowledgeable and sharp-witted." He spent months imprisoned in La Isabela, him, his wives, his children, and his brother. As Colon got to know Caonabo even more, he learned that he was not a Taino. Caonabo was originally named Cariocatex or Cariocatej. He told Colon that he had actually been part of the Carib tribe, and that as a young boy he had gone out on an expedition, it's supposed with his family or with his brothers and his father, to attack the Tainos of La Española. But on their way there, their canoe ended up capsizing because they ended up in the heart of a storm. He ended up washing ashore on La Española. He was injured. Beique or Butillo actually cured him and made sure that his wounds healed. He also taught him about the Taino culture. He lived with this Beique, but after the Beique died, he was on his own. So he ended up walking towards the kingdom of Jaragua. And as you can see, Jaragua is on this side of the island. Here, he became renowned for just being willing to do whatever needed to get done. So he was a risk taker, he was a leader, and he was admired for his skills. He even attacked other Caribs that went to attack the island, and he defended the Yucayeques. While in Jaragua, he caught the eye of Ana Caona. The beautiful Ana Caona was the daughter of the Cacique of Jaragua at the time. Her father, the Cacique, was named Uncatequa. Her and Beecho were siblings. When she fell in love with him, he had to go through several trials to prove that he was worth her hand in marriage. He went through all the tests and apparently passed, but they were still unsure of him. So they took him to the one person who could, without a doubt, say if he should be the next Cacique. They took him to Yohima, the priestess of the island. She resided in Yuboa. Yuboa was a sacred location for the Tainos, and the fact that Yohima was willing to give Caonabo a chance really spoke a lot about his character. In order to become a priestess, Taina had to give up all possibility of having children, of having a family. She gave up everything that was valuable for her in order to be a mediator between the Tainos, especially the Tainos caciques and cacicas, and their semi-gods. 2 times a year during the full moon, the caciques of the different cacicascos would visit Yohima to get counsel and to also receive the teachings of Nuna, la sabia madre, the wise mother. In order to present themselves before Yohima, who represented Nuna, la sabia madre, they had to go purified. They also had to have a special diet, and they had to go at night. They would ask her advice in order to resolve conflicts, also to make the best decisions for their government. She was one of the few people on the island that actually wore a cotton tunic. She was not a young woman at the time that Caonabo became cacique. By then, it is said that she was an elderly woman, maybe 100 years old. Her hair was white and dressed in pearls. Her boya was located on the edge of El Rio Yuboa. No matter the amount of people that went to visit her, only one person at a time could speak. It is also said that she had a guardian that prevented visitors from coming towards her if she believed that they were not pure enough to visit her. She performed a healing ceremony on Caonabo where she covered him with the paste of different plants in order to cure him of any ailment. So because Caonabo was a foreigner, he needed her approval in order to be able to become a cacique and to marry Ana Caon. She approved of him, and she herself crowned Caonabo as the cacique of Maguana. These symbols here represent Yohima and her guardian.